All right, so let's talk about our last two forms of writing an equation of a line. So our first goal today is I can write an equation and graph a line in point slope form. Goal number 2 is I can write an equation and graph a line in standard form. So last notes were on slope intercept, where if you look at the equation in slope intercept form, that is going to be a line, but so will point slope in standard form. So do you know how to graph either one of those? Go ahead and pre-rate yourself. Okay, so here it says, so far we've seen an equation in the form y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b is slope-intercept form. The reason it's called slope-intercept form is because this is the slope, and then this is the y value of the y-intercept 0, comma b. So I'm just going to say it's the y-intercept. And that's always going to be a line. However, there are other formats which will also produce lines, and we're going to learn the two others today. So here's the intro to it. It says graph a line which passes through 3, -1 and has a slope of 2. We did this in the rate of change work, so it's not anything crazy. So start by graphing the point 3, -1. Write 3 down 1. There it is. And then now you're going to graph more points based on the slope. So the slope is 2. Remember, which is the same thing as 2 over 1, which is the same thing as -2 over -1. So I'm going to go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. I could also go down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1. I'm going to connect those points, and there is my line. Let's graph another line. Go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. Your point is -2, 2. Your slope is -2/3. So -2/3 is the same thing as -2 over 3, which is the same thing as 2 over -3. So I'm going to go up 2, and then, or actually let's do this one first. Sorry, let me delete that and put this up here closer. So I'm going to do rise -2. So I'm going to go down 2, and then right 3. Down 2, right 3, down 2, right 3. And then let's look at this one right here. That one's the up 2, left 3. Connect those points, and there is your line. I could do a quick check once again. The first one is a positive slope line, and I was supposed to have a slope of +2, so pretty sure I'm good there. Second line has a negative slope, and the slope was supposed to be -2/3, so I feel like I'm good there too. Okay, so let's talk about our next form, which is point slope form. It says when we graph in the form y equals mx plus b, which was slope intercept, we start with the y-intercept, and then we draw a line from there. However, as you saw in the examples above, you could really start at any point, and a format which allows us to do that will be helpful. So here is our next form. Okay, this is point slope form. Now, the reason it's called point slope form is because you need a point, x1, y1, and you need the slope, m, to write the equation. And then it's going to be y minus whatever this value is equals whatever this value is, parentheses, x minus whatever this value is. Okay, so let's practice to see how you did. Once again, let's first actually practice by writing it out again. It's y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. All right, so write the equation. This is x1, y1, and this is m. And all I have to do is plug them in, like substitute them in. So I have y minus y1, which is 5, equals m, which is 3, parentheses, x minus x1, which is 2. Okay? Let's try one more together, and then you can try C and D on your own. This is x1, y1, and this is m. So I'm going to do y minus y1, which is 1, equals m, which is a half, parentheses, x minus x1, which is a -4, so that's a double negative, so I'm going to change it to positive. Go ahead and pause the video and try C and D on your own. You should have y minus a -6, so plus 6, equals -2 times x minus a -1, so plus 1. This one here, y minus 3 equals negative 5/4 times the quantity of x minus 7. Pretty simple, right? Okay, let's make sure you're able to go backwards. Given each equation, write the point and the slope that travels through the line. So let's just actually look back at these really quickly. Notice how I get this point. I use this and this, but notice it's the opposite of them. So it's -1, -6. And then to get m, I just use whatever that m value is. Okay, once again, here's another good one to look at, b. To get the -4, 1, I take the opposite of this and the opposite of this. So -4, +1. And then my slope is 1/2. All right, so let's try that here. Okay, let's start with the slope. The slope is the m value, which is 2. And then your point is using this and this. Now notice this goes with x, so that's going first, and it's the opposite of that, which is 6. This is with y, and it's the opposite of that, which is 4. All right, go ahead and try the last 3 on your own there and see if you can follow this. -3/4, 5 -1, 5/3, -3 +2. Slope is -1, right? There's a -1 there. And then -1, -5. Okay. All right, so now that we know that, we can graph, right? If you were able to graph these up here, you can now graph these. So I'm giving you the equation in point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. First thing I ask you for is the slope. The slope is m, which is 1/2. And my point would be 1, 2. All right, so now I want to graph this. So I'm going to start by graphing the point, 1, 2. And then I'm going to use the slope, which is 1/2, to graph other points. So I'm going to go rise 1, run 2, up 1, right 2. Remember, that's the same thing as down 1, left 2. So I'm also going to go down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2, and keep going because I want as many points on the line as possible. Arrows on the end. All right, my slope here is 2. My point is -4, -3. So I'm going to go -4, -3 first. And then my slope is 2, which is the same thing as 2/1, which is the same thing as -2 over -1. So I'm going to go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. And I'll also go down 2, left 1. And these are my points. Okay. All right, so let's look at these next 2 here. So first off, let's make sure we're identifying what form it's in and then saying what the slope is and what a point is. Okay, so what form is this in? This is in point slope form. It's in the form y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. See that? So I can see my slope is -1/3. And then my point is -3, +5. And I can graph that. -3, +5. And my slope is -1/3, which is the same thing as 1/-3. So I'm going to go rise -1, so down 1, right 3. Down 1, right 3. Down 1, right 3. I could also go up 1, left 3. And there's my line. All right, next one. What form is this in? Is this in point slope form like the last one? No. This is in slope intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. So please make sure you realize that because no matter what, people are going to say the slope is -3/2. That's right. But what people will accidentally say is that there's the point -4, 0 on the line, which there is not. There's the point 0, 4 on the line. The y-intercept is 4. So 0, 4. Graph that. And then -3/2 is the same thing as 3/-2. Remember, only one negative in that. So I'm going to go down 3, right 2. Down 3, right 2. down 3, right 2. I could also go up 3, left 2. And there's that line. Notice the point -4, 0 is not on the line, and that's what people accidentally say. If it looked like this, then yes, -4, 0 is on the line, but it doesn't look like that. Okay, so that's point slope form. Now let's talk about standard form. There is more than one format for lines that we will use, which looks, there's one more, not more than one. There's one more format, and it's standard form. It looks like this: AX plus BY equals C. When a line is in standard form, we will find the x-intercept and the y-intercept to graph the line. Okay? So let's recall from yesterday, a y-intercept is a point on the y-axis. The point will always have 0 for the x value, so it's 0 comma something. So what do you think an x-intercept looks like? It's always in the form something comma 0. So it's always in the form something comma 0, right? So that's when y is 0. What is x? Okay. Given each equation, find the x and the y-intercept. So once we find the x and the y-intercept, we can graph it. I want you to know this right now. It's not going to have this part on your test. You're going to need to know that standard form. I need to find the x and the y-intercept. So what I start off by doing is I say, okay, these are points. My y-intercept is 0 comma something. My x-intercept is something comma 0. So now what you're going to do is you're going to plug in 0 here and see what you get. If I plug in 0 there, I get 3x plus 2 times 0, which is 0, equals 12. So x equals 4. So my x-intercept is 4, 0. For my y-intercept, I'm going to plug in 0 for x and see what I get for y. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2y equals 12. So you could do this, but I'm just saying it's unnecessary to do 0 plus 2y. Divide by 2, and you get y equals 6. So now I know my y-intercept is 0, 6. When you have 2 points, that's enough information to graph. So now I'm going to graph 4, 0, 0, 6, and then I can connect. Try turning my iPad again. I can connect those 2 points and make my line, like so. Okay? So I want to prepare you for your test. So I'm going to start by saying, what form is this in? It's in standard form. When it's in standard form, I need my x-intercept and my y-intercept. My x-intercept is something comma 0. My y-intercept is 0 comma something. To get my x-intercept, I'll plug in 0 for y. I get negative 2x equals 10. So x equals negative 5. For my y-intercept, it's where x is equal to 0. So negative 2 times 0 is 0. And then I have 5y equals 10. So y equals 2, so my y-intercept is 0, 2. So 0, 2, negative 5, 0. Connect them with a straight line, and there's your line. Okay? All right, let's keep going here. So first thing I'm going to say to myself is, what form is this in? It's in standard form. And then I'll say, okay, well, now I have to find my x and my y-intercepts. Once again, it's not going to tell you that's what you have to do on your test. So you have to make sure that you are looking for that. Okay, so I say I have to find my x-intercept with something comma 0, y-intercept 0 comma something. Plug in 0 for y, and I get x equals 3. Plug in 0 for x, and I get y equals 3. So 3, 0, 0, 3, connect them to get my line, put arrows on the end, right? All right, let's not skip things. Standard form, all right, standard form. So I say I need my x and y-intercept. This is something comma 0. This is 0 comma something. If I plug in 0 for y, to see what I get for x, plug in 0 here, I get 2x equals 7. So x is equal to, divide by 2, 7 halves. 7 halves. If you put 3.5, it's fine. All right, now I want to graph my y-intercept. So I'm going to plug in 0 for x. I get negative y equals 7. So divide by negative 1, and I get y equals negative 7. Now the problem I hit is when I go to try to graph this, because I can't graph 7/2 0 or 3.5 0. I know it's somewhere in between here and here, but I can't get it perfect, right? So here's another way to graph it when that happens. Go ahead and write down your equation, 2x minus y equals 7, and say, all right, this is in standard form, but can I get it into slope-intercept form? Slope-intercept form is when it's solved for y. So let's solve this equation for y. If I want to solve this equation for y, the first thing I have to do is get rid of this. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So now I have negative y is equal to negative 2x plus 7. Notice I wrote my negative 2x first because I want it in the form y equals mx plus b. All right, y is still not by itself, so I say, how do I get y by itself? I have to divide by negative 1. But that means I have to divide this by negative 1 and this by negative 1. I have to divide everything by negative 1. So now I have y equals, this is a positive 2x, and this is a negative 7. And now I can graph it. So I have a y-intercept of negative 7, and then a slope of 2, up 2 over 1, 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 up 2 over 1. So you can see that you do hit the y-intercept of 0, negative 7. And if you look closely, you will then realize that you're going through 3.5 comma 0. Okay? All right, go ahead and re-rate yourself on how you feel about your goals for today. Point slope form. So can you graph a line given point slope form? And then can you write an equation and graph a line in standard form?